I was there, and Aaron wasn't on the back. Oh, we're live. Anytime you want to start talking.
Oh, snap.
Well, we got David and Todd.
Intro.
What's up, people? Never get tired of that intro with us pooping on the Cowboys, man. That never gets tiring.
How you guys doing tonight?
Doing
good.
Great.
So I know it's just been a couple days since the game, but can we still consider this Victory Monday?
Heck yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Victory Friday,
Week 3.
Victory Saturday, Victory Sunday, Victory Monday. Let's go.
It was interesting. We're all talking off stream about you guys all meeting up, and I'm like, I'm just letting all the faithful know that watch the show, all the people that are regulars, like, it will happen. Trust me. It's going to happen. And it's going to be, as what's his name used to say on How I Met Your Mother, it's going to be legendary when it actually happens. So I'm just letting y'all know someday. I don't know when. Unless I meet Ty in Cleveland or something. I don't know. We'll see.
Unless I drive up there. You never know.
Right.
I told you a long time ago, I got a cousin in Ithaca who I go see.
Ithaca's
not
pretty
that
close
far
to me.
away. I know.
Not that far away from Crapchester. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey, David, why don't you let everybody know who doesn't know? If you don't know, you're going to know. David, let everybody know what you did on Thursday and what all happened.
Well, I flew out to California and got picked up by this guy down here, and went and hung out with him and his fantastic family. And then Thursday we went to the Giants game. Yep,
That's awesome.
we were part of the gold mining. Was it the gold mining experience? Is that right, Ty?
It's just called the Gold Mine. Yeah.
But the gold mine, yeah, we were part of that. We were pretty much we were professional cheerleaders in the crowd for a while. Yelled our tails off. Had a blast watching the game, and saw the whole game, and it was awesome. I literally had to put some earbuds in with nothing playing just to mute the sound because I already have the ringing in my ears, and I didn't want that to get worse. It was loud. But then after the game, we had some more fun. We went down to the field. I got to walk on the field the Niners play on, and I'll tell you what, folks, it is real grass. It smelled like fresh cut grass, and the field's kind of soft and squishy, And I wasn't expecting that. I was actually expecting the field to be a little harder than that, but it was really soft and squishy. I was surprised. And then we ran into a fella.
Oh, that guy.
That guy right there. That's Steve Young.
Forever young, baby. That's awesome.
And that was awesome to see him, get a picture with him, say hi. That was awesome. He was actually doing something with a group of youngins. I think it was a team of athletes, female athletes. I don't know where from. They weren't in uniform, but he was over there throwing the ball and messing around. So yeah, he
Amazing.
said hi
It's
to
amazing.
just about everybody on the field.
I seen that. It's amazing, how he just from an outsider's perspective, he seems very approachable. Because I think pretty much all of you, Ty, you got a picture with him, didn't you? Or you were next to him?
I did not, but I did
You did
speak
not?
to him
You did
as he
speak,
was
okay.
walking over to the girls' high school team to interact with them.
That's
It's
awesome.
super cool. Yeah.
He seems really, we talk about, everybody does. I'm a Montana guy, but all the stuff I've heard about Joe Montana in real life, he's kind of very, very standoffish and kind of prickish a little bit, which kind of sucks because he was my favorite player growing up. But I heard about something at a high school game one time where he had like security watching him and told people not to talk to him. Just like, damn. And then from what Bash told me, but then like Steve Young, you guys take a picture. He's on the field. He's actually smiling. He's not like looking off. Like some people, you take pictures of them and they're like, okay, are we done? Like he did. That's awesome. I was. How did you guys? You just asked security to come onto the field, or does somebody know somebody?
The guy, our host, offered us. He said, "Now, if you guys want to wait around a minute, well, do you guys want to go down to the field?" This is after the game. We're all like, "Yeah." So we're all just, had to chill and wait around for about 10 minutes for the crowd to clear out a little bit.
That's awesome.
It was awesome. I even shook Steve Young's hand. Speaking of Bryant, have you watched it?
You're muted.
I will not disclose that information, but
Oh my gosh.
It's literally brown. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Quick, shout out to everybody in the chat. We had a good buddy going, and I thought it'd be fun to go raid his chat. So if anybody in the chat hasn't been able to go, I went to Beto's chat, said, "Hey, Niner Sickness, we got a David McNiner raid going on." So if you guys are in the comments right now and you can go back to Niner Sickness, or you haven't been there, please like the button there. But we got a cool little show going. It won't be too long, but I know he's doing the watch party over there. So Bengals and Rams, I think we've heard that story before. But yeah, Ty, was this your first time meeting Steve Young? Because I know you've been on the field before. You've been a lot of places. So like for me, I don't know if he's starstruck or whatnot, but I basically seen my hero on the field and probably could have died happy, but I got home, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I too got on a plane and flew out to California way last weekend. That's right. Met up with these super cool guys. Oh man, what an experience. Brian, to answer your question, that is my first time meeting him and speaking to him. We did, however, have a prior interaction from a distance. I went to the NFL draft many years ago when he worked at ESPN. It was at Radio City Music Hall here in New York. And I was wearing his jersey. I have a 1994 75th anniversary jersey, the one with the patch, the one they won the Super Bowl in 94. Like I have the exact same jersey. And he was at the podium announcing, doing his TV thing, and I was there in the crowd, and this was like kind of near the end when the place was empty and out. And I was like, "Hey, Steve." And he saw me, and he was just like, "Oh my God." He was on TV, so he couldn't do anything. He was like, "Oh my God." And he was throwing his hands up and he was pointing at me. He was like, "Yeah, buddy." And I was like, "Yeah, you the man," So we had like a distance type of thing going on. And that was it. But he was super like engaged with me from a distance, which I thought was super cool. Like he could have easily been like, but he wasn't. He was like pumped. So we had that experience back then, and this time just saying, "Hey, Steve, how you doing? How's your arm?" He's like, "I'm about to find out." I was like, "All right, man, take it easy out there now." They're young. He was like, "Hey, I'm old, so we're even." Just a cool guy, right? Like you would never expect that, but just like a cool, down to earth guy. So it was an awesome, like cherry on top of the cake experience.
I gotta say, I know David's the host and he'll ask us some questions, but I gotta say, the person you see on TV is legitimate. That is Steve Young.
Yeah.
All the
Agreed.
commercials, everything, like that's truly his personality. I didn't feel it was an act or anything like that at all. He was truly energetic, humble, funny. I told him I got ran over by a car. His eyes popped out of his head, basically. I mean, like, I told him, like, my mom and dad surprised me with your jersey when I come out of my concussion in the hospital, right? You know, and he snatched me up, give me a hug. Before I knew it was done, he was asking for a picture. I was telling him my dad was a Raider fan. Well, I'm not thinking, right? You know, I'm like, my dad got me the football.
Just rambling.
Yeah, you practiced with in my hometown. You guys were at Stockton, and he started smiling. He's like, awesome. And then, you know, I'm like, can Tony get a picture? You know, my wife, and he's like, oh yeah. You know, the next thing I know, he's got a Sharpie in his hand, and there's a story about the Sharpie. Hey, let me sign your jacket. And he said either classic or old school jacket. I was just like, again, everything's going off. I'm like, is this really happening? You know? So he signs my jacket and I'm just like, whoa, blown away. So later on, I find out the story about the Sharpie. Bex, your girl Bex, right? She had one, and Steve was on the field, and there was a little kid trying to get something signed, and Steve actually, does anybody have a Sharpie? Here comes Bex. I tell you what, I owe her. I really, truly owe her. I'll never be able to, like, you know, like, maybe I can meet somebody or give somebody a Sharpie that signs something for her. I don't know. But, I mean, to tell you, I met Junior Bryant. I met T.O. I met a couple 49ers players. There's a lot more than that. But those are probably the most noteworthy that I can think of right now.
Junior Bryant, that's a throwback name.
I
A
know.
lot of people don't remember.
Yeah, I was super excited to meet him. I was like, I wanted to meet Bryant Young. It was like that close, but you know, got to meet a lot of players at the camp. And the one person I didn't meet that I always was like, man, I really want to meet him, you know, like, because that's my guy is Steve Young. My dad, man, when Steve got retired, my dad messed with me so much. He's like, you know why he's retiring? I'm like, no, why? You know, like, why? Because he can't remember his name. Yeah, they asked him who his uncle was, and he said Troy. And I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, he thinks Troy Aikman's his uncle. I'm like, Dad,
That's
no.
messed up.
There
That's
was a
so messed
bad, there was a bad joke going for a long time. They were like, hey, Steve, who's your uncle? And then there was, hey, Troy, who's your uncle? And then Troy would say, you know, so it was depending on who you're a fan base of. But I was just like, my golly, you know, like to be able to meet him. Yeah, I was really, really excited. But David.
Hey, wait, real quick, Brian, before we jump to David, to go back to the Sharpie thing, I started that because I went around our whole group and was asking, hey, does anyone have a Sharpie? Just in case I bump into someone and I want an autograph, because I never asked for an autograph, but I'm like, I want an autograph this time, but I don't have a Sharpie. Does anyone have a Sharpie? And Rebecca was like, I got one. I'm going to bring one.
Yeah.
So that's why she brought one.
That
it's so crazy how it all comes around.
Well, we lost Aaron, so I'm 49ers first takes for a minute, and Ty's David McNew. So
Hey
it just,
there.
you know, it is what it is. But I'm sure
Brian's
he'll be back.
I'll
yeah, I'm sure he'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Oh, there you go. Take the overlay off. Nice. Well done.
So,
but
go for it, David.
Well, I wish I had my camera ready when Steve Young was signing Bryant's jacket, because the look on his face of like astonishment and like, what's happening? It was priceless. I needed to get a picture of it, but I did not have my camera ready, folks. I'm sorry. It was awesome, though.
We're having too much fun today.
Well, there is.
I know. It's moving squares here. We're flipping around.
Sorry.
It's all good.
He's back.
I accidentally kicked myself out. I wasn't logged in for some reason. I didn't think it was going to kick me back. It's kind of weird.
That's weird.
Oh, because I wanted to bring up a comment.
Wonder what's going on. But anyway,
can you hear me?
So it was a really good time, you know, and
Hello?
oh,
I got you. I'm still here. Everyone's still here.
I'm still here too. But yeah, it was a really good time. It was my first experience at an NFL game. And, I honestly think would like to do this at least once a year, like go out to the home opener, plan it way ahead of time and make my way out there.
Yeah. And you're muted.
Yeah, so if it's possible again, we definitely want to try to pre-plan it. David, we can't hear you, David. But Ty, overall thoughts of the game. I mean, the Niners again, they put up 30-12. So is this going to be like an ongoing thing? We're putting 30 out there, or
it's what we do. It's what we do. It's ever since that Kansas City game last year, where everyone in that locker room was just PO'd that they only scored 23, 26 points. And they were like, we're too good of a team to only score that many points. It's been the 30-point club. A few blips here and there against some tough defenses or when they shot themselves in the foot, but it's been a consistent 30. And it's just how good they are. And if you look at this past game, no Brandon Ayuk. The quarterback was a little bit off. Brock was a little off in the first half, right? Took him a minute to find his rhythm. Even with that, 30 points.
Yep. We didn't score 70, but we got close. We scored 30.
It's just how good they are, right? And you can see every week Kyle has been saying we missed some opportunities. We left some things out there on the field. And he's right. If you go back and watch the film and see how things happened, it should have been more points. But that's like our baseline now. It's just what we do. It's what we can easily accomplish. We're rolling out of the bed, going to the stadium, into the locker room, 30 points. It's just how good that offense is. It's how good the skill players are. It's what they're capable of.
And a lot of that.
Go ahead, Aaron.
I was going to say a lot of that game was, they blitzed 85% of the time. The Giants were definitely coming after Brock. And I think that might be something that we have to watch going forward that teams are going to might try to replicate. All quarterbacks, if you blitz them enough and hit them, they're going to get erratic. But I thought he handled himself well in the later stages or after the early start, like Ty said, they had no choice but to screen it to death because that's the way that they were blitzing and blitzing and blitzing. I thought two of his best throws were his 2 touchdown passes. The one to the Ronnie Bell was a beautiful throw, and the one to Debo, that back shoulder throw. Say what you want about him having a freaking a pea shooter for an arm. That was a perfect throw. Perfect. Back shoulder. I was just like, man, okay. So I'm just watching games now. I'm trying to be positive, dude. I'm not, who cares? Every game's its own entity. You know what I mean? So like you said, 30 points is a baseline. It's a pretty damn good baseline if we're talking, scoring points.
Yeah.
All right.
One thing I can say about that. One thing I want to say about that touchdown throw is that I've been I was at game 1. I was at this game. Pre-game, he's been practicing that throw with his receivers. He did it with Ayuk in week 1. This week, he did it with Debo. And they weren't in motion, but they were standing in the end zone. The receiver was standing in the end zone. Brock was back at the 20, 25, and he was just tossing it to him repeatedly in that same spot in the corner. If you remember back to week 1, basically that same spot between week 1 and week 3. He's just been practicing that thing. So we might see that more and more as the season goes on. If he identifies a one-on-one matchup, that can be an automatic throw for him.
I just want to say thank you to Laura saying that meeting me is next on your bucket list.
She is awesome.
Meeting all of you, including Laura, is next on my bucket.
Laura is awesome.
I want to meet
I wish I had
everybody.
more time to just chat with her and everyone else, because I mean, just amazing people.
I want to meet my boy. I want to meet my boy Bash, because it's me and him are we talk a lot outside of YouTube, just about life and stuff and weird people and things and stuff like that and whatnot. And he's like, "Oh, you got to make your way out here." And it's just a matter of like, I've never been on a plane before, so I'm afraid. I'm a big old guy, and I'm a freaking chicken ass. You know what I mean? What's that?
I made sure I sat behind, but it didn't do it strategically or on purpose. But when I found out I was sitting behind Bashar, I made sure he knew we were sitting behind him the rest of the game. I did. I apologized at first because my wife gets extremely loud in almost a lot of different occasions. We'll just leave it like that because she's very passionate, right? So we're watching the game, and I think Ty said it. I think she screamed for everybody in the group. Like overall, I think they heard her on the field. So Bashar, I said, "Hey, she's going to be loud." He's like, "Oh, it's okay." No, she's going to be loud. Okay. No, she's going. And like the fifth time, I said, "No, she's going to be." He started getting it like she's going to be loud. So every time there was a touchdown, I was putting my hand on his shoulder, grabbing him. Let's go! He's getting started. Like, whoa! Who touched me again? It was me. I'm up here, and yeah. Every time Moody scored a point, I made sure I took my jacket off and screamed out Moody season. And he started hearing me more and more. So he started, he turned around when we were getting ready to kick. So Bashar is really cool. Definitely cool guy. Laura Cat's really cool too. Very cool girl.
So Bryant may have been the only guy in the stadium in a Moody jersey. I'm not saying he totally was, but he may have been.
He was right about
Bryant
it.
And I actually saw we saw our backup QB's family, like his mom, wife, I think little brother and dad. We literally were eating something and they walked by us. They had Sam Darnold jerseys on.
Yep.
So it was like, yeah.
I got a question for you guys. My brother told me that I need to start doing my hair like Andy Dalton. So
Big Red.
I'm gonna need some tips. I got to start doing my hair like Andy Dalton. He's like, because we're watching the game yesterday. Like, that's how you got to start doing your hair. I'm like, well, I got to let it stay longer then. So if I start doing streams without a hat, his red hair is nice. Like I'm almost 44 and my red hair is still pretty bright, but that dude's got some carrot hair, man. Like I miss those days when it was that bright, but just weird thing to add into the conversation.
We didn't have to pause. It's okay. We're good. You can see like all three of us, we're super, cheesy. We were super excited. I know Ty again's been on the field multiple times in different areas, but you can see he was a little kid out there. He was definitely smiling. There's ear to ear.
I'm telling you.
I don't know. I mean, like there's something about
he comes off Mr. Shy and Mr. Composed on here.
I was on the field at the Stick. I was on the field Levi's, a big old kid both times. I'm just touching the grass. I want to roll around. I was thinking
about laying. Did you guys ever thought about laying on the ground, like laying on the grass? Because I would totally do that if I was there. I just lay on it. I just want to be like, I laid on the 49ers field where they played.
I did that.
Take a picture of me looking like a weirdo,
For sure. And I got a picture laying on the ground.
That's awesome. I want to do snow angels in the grass just by myself. Like I don't
Bill
care.
Walsh Field. I got to do it.
You kind of say it now, but when you get on the field, you almost feel like there's like a force field telling you don't do anything dumb. Don't do anything, because at the end of the game, we're leaving, right? We are leaving. We're trying to walk up the stairs, and there's always that one guy, and he starts running around. Everybody, come on, let's get off the field. He's running around. They were okay with him running for a minute until he started heading to his locker room. That's when they had they clamped him down, pulled him back. But oh my gosh, to probably be banned from the stadium for the rest of your life after the game. I mean, like, at least he didn't get hit by
that guy. That guy definitely got banned.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you would do something. He must have been inebriated. There's no way you act like that if you're normal. So,
well, he wasn't running fast and it wasn't a straight line. So I definitely think he was drunk. Yeah.
There was a lot of
was he
giggles.
drunk? Was he on the booger sugar? Like, was he on other stuff too, or is it just alcohol?
We didn't get close enough, but we could tell the way he was running, he was totally having fun. He wanted them to catch him, but I think he's seen how loose they were being with him, because he did. He got closer to the tunnel, and then they're like, okay, we got to get this guy. He might not be fun anymore. It's like, but it was great. Great
That's
time.
awesome. I'm glad you guys had a good time. I was jealously looking on, but not as a hater, but as just like, man, it was like when you have all your friends that you grew up with, right? And you get and you all hang out every day at the playground or in the neighborhood, and then one of you gets to go to have a sleepover at their house, and you're not part of it because your mom doesn't allow you to sleep over people's houses or whatever. That's what I felt like. Like you guys were having a big giant sleepover, and the big red-headed guy wasn't. I was just like, man,
you guys did. Yeah.
those two did.
Yeah. Me and Bryant did. Yeah.
Did you guys share a single bed like grown boys do?
No.
No, but David, I didn't see David's pajama pants. I tell you that. A lot of coffee. All right.
My jalapeno pajamas. Yep.
That's awesome. I just thought maybe there was like a single bed in your house where you guys just like spooned and stuff. That would have been interesting.
No, not like that.
Tony's like, what?
Oh man, we didn't go to bed like almost every night until like 2 or 3. Well, David, yeah, it was just a lot of good fun. We come home, we watch the game again. Oh man, it's just really awesome. So, guys, let's get into this breakdown of the game. I know everybody's been listening to us talk, but and I know that's why you're here, to hear us talk. But again, 30-12. Aaron, what's your thoughts? I mean, when I started seeing the passes, Ty brought it up a little bit. It did seem like Brock Purdy was off a little bit, but it also seemed like our guys were off. They didn't seem like they were completely there. And then there was some passes like he did seem to have to just throw them away really quickly because the rush was coming. And shout out to him for not getting hit too many times, getting rid of the ball when he needed to. And shout out to Coach Kyle, right? He took the points when we needed it to, because a lot of people would be upset just going and scoring field goals. But they do add up. And at the end of the game, we had 30 points. We had like 23 points before they had 12. It was What's your thoughts, Aaron?
I thought the game was typical of a Thursday night matchup. Sloppy. Teams looked not underprepared, but just like you could tell, like they just played a game on Sunday. Essentially, during the week, all you're doing is practicing, and they don't practice during the week during these type of games. And it just looked, I don't know. They looked rusty. They looked not themselves, but the Giants blitzed a lot, which we found out later, 85% of the time. So Brock had to deal with a lot of it. He threw a couple interceptions, but he didn't throw them, so they don't count. And I felt the 49ers were operating at like 60% and they still won 30-12. So that to me tells me that they're a really good team, at the fact that they're not operating at the highest level and they're still being able to come out and put a 30 burger on a NFL team. I thought the Giants were undermanned. I think they don't have a lot of weapons on the outside, and I think the Niners took advantage of that. I thought the pass rush is starting to come alive. They found something out with this like 5-man line that they like bringing. But it's early in the season, man. This isn't the peak 49er team. And if this is kind of like the bottom, this is kind of like when Ty says like a baseline of like what our team's supposed to be, it's a pretty damn good baseline. So overall, I was happy. Yeah, there was a lot of points left on the field. I thought Brock had one of his worst performances and still threw for over 300 yards and 2 touchdowns. You could say what you want about him screening it to death, but that's what the defense was given. He wasn't forcing anything downfield. He didn't do what Jimmy did last night and pump, and still throw to guys that weren't open. So I'm good with that. I was a little worried in the beginning of the game. I thought the Giants could steal this one. I don't know how you guys felt at the stadium, but I was a little bit uneasy watching the early part of the game. But by the end, I was like, the Niners are way better than this team. So yeah, overall, pretty good for me.
What say you, David?
Well, let's start with James. He threw 3 picks. yesterday. You know, it kind of makes it so I really don't miss him. You know,
not our problem
but
anymore.
Nope.
I still don't. I mean, we're not in midseason form yet. You know,
No.
it kind of shows, especially you know our defense. They're coming around. The pass rushes. You know, we were going up against New York's backup left side though. They were missing their starting left guard and tackle. But you know, it's nice to see that. It's nice to see that us getting some pass rush. You know, I believe we out of what 39 dropbacks, we pressured him like 33 times. So that's definitely nice to see those guys get going. And I mean, Brock threw for 310 yards, and I agree with there. And I don't think he had his best game. You know, his best games are yet to come. So the league better watch out. And you know, Elijah Mitchell, you know, a lot of his runs were short, but he broke off a couple that make me think, you know, the next game or two he's going to get going. Hopefully he stays healthy so we can, you know, spell CMC with a good running back. Not that Jordan Mason couldn't do the job. I don't think TDP is going to see the field because of his, you know, pass blocking skills. But if you don't notice, we're passing the ball more than we're running it this year. When James was quarterback, we're running the ball more than we're passing. So that just shows how much faith Kyle has in Brock Purdy. And last pick of the draft, whatever. I don't care. He looks like an NFL QB to me.
Yeah. And it's kind of the philosophy of, all right, we know these teams are going to come out and trying to stop the run, so let's take advantage of that. Let's pass a little bit more, and that'll help loosen things up for the run game. And that's why we've kind of seen teams get gashed for some big runs through these first 3 weeks. CMC has been able to rip off, you know, 30, 40 yards, 60-yard runs. And that's because we're passing a bit more first down, second down, keeping them off balance. So Kyle's in his bag a little bit with you know, working the pass more to keep these teams off the line of scrimmage.
I think the one thing I could say about Brock Purdy, there's a lot of focus on him right now because of the conversation that's going on social media. You know, the pro Purdy, just the anti-Purdy crowd are more or less like Niners made the wrong choice, and I'm just going to complain and bitch and moan about it until someone else is a quarterback, you know, yada, yada, yada. There's a lot of that going on. So, like, I think we're hypersensitive to, like, Brock right now because a lot has been because of what choice was made and because of the conversation that's going on and because of how divided 49er fans are. I think if this was any other team with any other young quarterback, I don't think the tension and the critique would be as high as it is with Brock. Because I think we see Brock struggle and you know, I was on Twitter. I stayed away from Twitter the first 2 weeks of the season because it's a crap show. You know what I mean? People are losing their minds or, oh, we're horrible. We suck. We're not going to win. You know, like overreaction. And it's all you got. People were saying like, see, I told you he was a bad player. He's no good, yada, yada, yada. So it's just, I think us watching Brock, we have like more of a hypersensitive, like, view of it than we would if he would have been any other guy. But I thought he played overall well. Thought he, like you said, started slow, but in the end, he 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. That's all he could really ask for.
So, real quick, you know, not to say any player is worse than the other, but it's kind of going to go that direction. We left Joe Montana for Steve Young, right? Then Steve Young, by default, got injured, and you know we had to move on, right? We may have had 2-3 more Super Bowls in that period of time. I know Green Bay was a very good team, and so was not Dallas, but Denver was a very good team. But we still were very formidable. Yes. And I know we had Minnesota to deal with, and then, you know, the Falcons' Dirty Bird came out, but we play the Falcons like twice a year. I think we would have been able to, you know, if Garrison Hurst didn't break his ankle,
we win that game. We right? That was a Super Bowl team.
Yep.
So
100%.
With that, you know, it's like, hey, you know, we're not a bad team. We haven't really ever been a bad team, we just caught lightning in a bottle in the 80s and early 90s, right? But my point, when we transitioned from Steve Young to Jeff Garcia, I remember there wasn't anybody happy. There wasn't anybody happy. Jeff was okay, he was mobile like Steve, but he didn't have Steve Young's arm. And when we moved from Jeff to Tim Rattay, they justified it. Sorry about my daughter. They justified it by saying, well, Tim can throw further. Look at his arm. But Jeff Garcia was a Pro Bowler. Jeff Garcia did all this stuff with Owens, yards after catch, a lot of stuff. But we had a really good team right there. And then we go and fire a coach and then, get a different coach. And, we want to move, so I don't really care what position, what draft pick you are, but if you're drafted to the 49ers, you're going to definitely be scrutinized. It's just one of those things. If you're a quarterback,
especially the quarterback position.
I almost would hate to almost be a quarterback and, not necessarily be a Niner fan, but, be just a quarterback and then the Niners draft me because unless you can, put that behind you and say, hey, I don't care what the lights are. They're not too bright for me. I can go out there and I can get it done. Then you're the guy for us. But if you're, nervous and there's things you're always looking over your shoulder, you just see me. You don't need to be the quarterback of the Niners. You can go play for the Jets or, somebody else. But guys, with our offense, we are going to be a dink and duck offense. We are going to, blow teams out unwillingly. They're not going to see how we're going to do it. It's just going to happen. If the short passes don't happen, then we're going to throw a deep pass. If the running game doesn't happen, then we're going to do an end around. We're going to do a gimmick play. Something's going to happen. And my point, my transitioning from this is look at the Dolphins. Who's their head coach? Where'd he come from? Whose friend was he? Whose offense are they running in Miami? The only difference is just a couple of players, right? I'm not going to say Miami's better than us, but they definitely got a couple of fast guys, and they got a quarterback who may or may not be able to throw it deep depending on the situation, right? Tua can throw it. And Tua can be very good, but we've also seen the bad Tua, right? There's like good tuna, then there's bad tuna, right? So we'll get into that too much, but 70 points. Can this offense, the Niners offense, generate that? Or are we ever going to be able to, replicate that? Or is it more like, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but like Dallas, we put 30 points up, right? Dallas puts 40 points up. Did they do it on purpose or were they running the score up? And then, next thing you know, it's like you see the Cardinals, they're completely dominating the Giants. And then they pulled the foot off the gas pedal or something. So, like with the Dolphins, I seen them put their backup quarterback in and still you're 56 points up. You're telling me they're really coming back, but you're still driving down the field. You're still going deep. I mean, I don't know. At some point, I think the Dolphins are going to really become like public enemy number one to all these other teams and go and play their A game. You going to put 70 up on us? You ain't putting nothing up on us. So. What's your guys' thoughts? I mean, are we going to ever get to that point, or is it just because we don't have the same players, the same personnel?
They're essentially the Niners offense on cocaine. They're
right?
Super fast and speedy and electric. Niners are just not built like that. The Niners have yak guys. They don't have track stars. We put up 50 some odd points against the Panthers back in 2019. I feel like that's our limit. Oh, there's no really need to have anybody in the game once you're up that many points, which that's what I don't understand about Miami is they were up so much and they still had their starters. And I think smart teams would take their starters out mid third quarter if you're up that many points. I think that was a fluke thing. I don't think they're going to score that many points all the time, but it was pretty cool to see. It was like Madden on rookie. Turn the rookie settings on. All of a sudden you're able to throw a touchdown every play to the same guy with the same pattern. That's essentially what it looked like. Tyreek Hill is a bad man. He's really good. We lost the Super Bowl because we let him get free. It was a matter of time in that game. He's that good. So
mostly do that coverage. Oh,
so bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think the Niners need to really worry themselves with trying to score that many points. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, David.
70 points, 10 touchdowns. That's
over 700 yards of offense.
that's getting killed. That's getting destroyed. That's like a nuclear bomb going off in the backyard. It's like when I saw that score, I was like, hold on, I had to double check it. It's like, no, this can't be real. And it's like, wow, that really happened. And I don't even know what the NFL record is for most points by one team in a game. Do you guys?
73, I think.
73.
I want to say 73.
Yeah.
Wow.
McDaniels could have kicked the field goal and tied it up, but didn't. It's
'cause
72 actually. It's 72, yeah, and he could have kicked the field goal
Thank you, Bebop.
to break the record, but decided to take a knee.
Because they had the ball.
Not rub it in.
They had the ball at the end.
Yeah.
They
kicked it.
And then I'd seen the other team got the ball, and they were doing like the victory formation. Well, whatever, the kneeling it out at the end. And I was like, oh, so they must have just like, what? I don't know. Because I've been watching it. I didn't want to watch the 2 hour, the whole video. I didn't want to watch the whole game. I watched the condensed game, and that's what I seen at the end. I was like, oh wow, they could have really did it. So
they could put an 80 burger on them.
Who was it who put it up? Was it Baltimore Colts and the Bears who put up that many points? I'm gonna have to Google it, but I know they had played prior in the season, and there was some words exchanged after the game. So then the coach went and told the players, this is what they said about you, and they put up the most points ever in a game. So I know that's that story.
Yeah,
I'm gonna look it up real quick, guys.
We can't overlook the fact that Denver is a bad team. A lot of people like to say, oh, the Bears are the worst team in football. I'm going to argue that the Denver Broncos are worse. If we go back just a week ago, when they played the Commanders put up 35 on them. With Sam Howell, they had the whole league thinking Sam Howell was going to be the next big thing because he threw for 300 yards and 2 touchdowns versus them. And yesterday, Sam Howell threw for 170 yards and like 4 interceptions. That's how bad the Denver defense is. That you make a first-year guy just look like the next coming when you play him. They're just a seriously bad football team. Russell Wilson, everyone likes to talk about Russell Wilson like this is 6 years ago. Russell Wilson has been bad for the past 2-3 seasons.
Yeah, he's washed, dude. He's not the same player anymore.
He is not.
You want to talk about a quarterback and a coach being in perfect like symbionts with each other, like Kyle and Purdy. That's Russell and Coach
Carroll.
Carroll. They were the perfect combination for each other.
Yeah.
And he's not under that umbrella anymore, and he's essentially been exposed.
That was years ago when they were in sync.
Yeah.
Like his last year in Seattle, remember, he stunk it up.
Yeah, he was pretty bad.
He was not good. It was like the last year and a half in Seattle. He wasn't very good.
You keep him in the pocket, he's not the same kind of player.
And he can't run like he used to anymore.
No. None of that whirling dervish stuff where he's spinning around and doing all that mess. That's over with.
Does not have the legs anymore.
Backyard football. I
hated.
I was saying last year that he's a system quarterback. I was saying Russell's a system quarterback. That's what I was saying last year, but I was just joking. But at this point, I'm thinking that's a valid statement.
Yeah. So, like, I know my aunt. Think about how bad they were, how bad Denver is. Like Miami did that no-look pass. Tua did the no-look pass for a touchdown with his right hand, his offhand, by the way. Denver's so bad they fell for it twice. They ran it on them twice. They fell for it both times.
How much do you think that Heat messed with them yesterday?
I'm sure the Heat played some role, but come on. I mean, it's not like it's freezing in Denver. right?
My brother's like, I don't want to hear it because he's a Dolphins fan. He's like, when you go to Denver, you can't breathe. So whatever. And I was like, it's a good point.
Yeah,
It's a good
you
point.
adjust, and
Tough
and
titty.
like I said,
Figure it out.
It's not like it's freezing, you know.
Right.
Come on now. It's still like we haven't hit fall yet. It's still warm across the country.
70 points is still a lot of points.
You gave
That's
up
insane,
a
bro.
lot. And you only put up 20 in defense.
That's it.
That's the key. Your offense with this guru head coach play caller and this quarterback who's supposed to be so good, and he's got receivers, they got weapons. You only put up 20 in defense. You clearly got the ball back a lot because they kicked it off to you.
And that's how they got a score, because they kicked the ball off and they ran it in because nobody wanted to tackle. They just wanted the ball back.
Yeah, they're like, we want to score again. Let them go.
Let's give them a point. We'll go put up another touchdown on them. Oh my gosh. I mean, at a certain point, you're like, okay, Sean Payton, when are you going to pull out some tricks? We know you like to kick onside kicks. Maybe he only got to do it once or twice in the game, but come on, man. I mean, like, they put 70 up on you. Is it too early to say? Is it too early to say let's swim? Let's swim.
Let's drown.
I mean, like, I don't see Denver saying let's ride anytime soon. Like they took the Broncos to the water, and those Dolphins said, "Hey, come on into the ocean," and they never come back out, did they? They never come back out.
The ocean was boiling yesterday for those Dolphins. Well, so actually, no, that doesn't make any sense. Never mind.
It's official. I know one game shouldn't sway you, but Aaron Rodgers, tearing up his ankle, kind of. Okay, it is what it is. If the Jets still make it to the Super Bowl, then you guys can I'll sit here and say I told you so. But my new Super Bowl pick, and I won't change it again for right now, I might maybe in the middle of the year, but it's the Niners versus the Dolphins. I'm telling you.
I don't want it.
Man, oh, jeez.
I don't want it.
They won't put 70 up on us, though.
I know, but still, that's my brother's squad. I ain't trying to watch it. Somebody said last week when I was doing a stream that I was talking too much about my brother's squad. Bro, I don't think you realize how miserable of a Super Bowl that would be to watch. Because we're literally cheering for each other. We have our own teams. They're both in the same game. I can't be like, yeah. Oh, wait, no, they're kicking our ass. Or vice versa. Like, I told him, I was like, give us this year. Let us win. Okay. And then y'all can do whatever you got to do next year. Because that if it happens, it happens. It's weird because they haven't won since the 70s, right?
Yep.
The Niners haven't won since the 90s. So if anybody's going to pick a team to win, they're going to want the Dolphins to win, which if it wasn't the Niners, I would roll with them because I'd be like, like they finally get off the schneid. My brother can witness a Super Bowl in his lifetime like I did. But not you, dude. No, I don't want it to be the Dolphins. But you know what's funny? That could be the Super Bowl. I have a coworker who's a Dolphins fan. He's like, tell your brother, rematch, payback. We're gonna get payback this year. I'm like, oh God, here we go.
That was my question to you. When we played each other last year, what did you and your bro do?
Well, remember the previous game we got crushed by Fitzpatrick when we had that Brandon Allen or whoever that chump corner was that was in that gave up all those touchdowns. Yeah. So this to me was like, my brother was like, he just was like, wow, you guys are a really good team. And, we just we deserved to lose because he felt that the defense, and even now with the defense, he still thinks the defense is a little bit behind the offense. Mm-hmm. So as good as they can score points and put up points, they have some deficiencies on their offense or their defense.
Yeah.
And I think the Niners would put up a good amount of points on that defense, no doubt. It would be a freaking shootout, which I don't really like Super Bowls like that. I mean, it's fun for the viewers, and it would be fun to sell people the experience of watching a game with two teams absolutely just bludgeon each other on offense. But I'd rather have a game where the Niners win 55-10, and it's like the late third quarter, and I'm already relaxed and chilling. I don't have to worry. So whatever.
After watching the last 2 Super Bowls we've been in, I don't think I could watch a game and us be up 55-10 and still be chilling. I just really I don't think I'm gonna be sitting down the entire. I don't think so. It's hard for us to. At this point, I really am. I know it's one game at a time, but I want to. I want to see a 70 burger. Yeah, but I want to see what we do against Dallas, because if Dallas puts up 40 points regularly against most people, and I'm talking about last season, and prior seasons, where our barometer, whatever, our measuring tape, stick, we get out, we're hitting about 30. If we're lucky, maybe a couple more points over that. So I'm not saying every game we have to score. I'm happy having the ball, 4 times and scoring 28 points and their team only getting a field goal. I'm okay with that. But since we have had Purdy, Brock 30, we like to call him, and I don't know, guys.
Or you call him Turdy if you're what's his name, calling him Brock Turdy.
Yeah, they can call him what they want as long as he's back there. I'm not afraid. The Cowboys don't look to be as scary, strong. I don't know what happened, but they kind of fell off last week, didn't they? So do we have to really worry about
hold on. Hold on. Remember the question I was asking. So are the Cardinals, really that good, or are the Cowboys frauds? What do you guys think?
Of both. I think it's a little bit of both.
It's frauds. Remember, who did the Cowboys play to start the season?
Giants.
New York.
Giants on a rainy night. Overhyped Giants. And then they came back and played the Jets. The Aaron Rodgers-less Jets.
Yeah.
Hello. You start off playing 2 bad teams. You score 40, you score 30. Everybody's like, oh, it's amazing. This team's great. Then you got to go on the road cross country and play a team that, comes from the Philadelphia school of defense. That's their old defensive coordinator. So he knows them, right? He knows what he can try to take advantage of and do some things. And he's like, all right, let's just come out, try to punch them in the mouth, see what happens. All of a sudden, it's a whole different ball game.
They ran right at freaking Parsons yesterday. And the Niners are smart. They're going to do the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. They're going to run Christian McCaffrey behind Trent Williams, and they're going to test how good this dude really is. He is really good. I just don't think he's Nick Bosa. People are so caught up in the moment. I'm going to say this. We need to not worry about the Cowboys. We got to worry about the Cardinals right now, because I think the
Cardinals, exactly.
It's funny. I got a message last night on a DM on Facebook from a friend I grew up with who's a DJ. He travels the world. And he's like, Aaron, what do you think about the Dallas blah, 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 blah? Do you think they're as good now? Do you think we're going to, smack their ass and kick their butt? I was like, bro, I ain't even worried about Dallas right now. So I'm focused on the Cardinals. He's like, that's true. He's like, Cardinals are a divisional game. They always play us close. I'm like, yeah, I'm not even thinking about the Cowboys. All I want is just to put 30 points up on the Cardinals, give up a couple, and get guys out of the game. I'm all about preserving players this year. If we're smacking teams, I'm all about taking guys out. We don't need to put 70 up. I'm trying to win in freaking January and February. I could care less about trying to do stuff like that right now.
I agree.
Hey, the Red Chickens have been that pesky team, they could suck. But then all of a sudden all their players are playing like all pros against us. It's kind of like they're that team, in the division that's just pesky.
It's a division game, how, especially in our division. Say what you want, we still all play each other tough.
Yep.
Right. No one wants to give the other team an inch. So it's definitely not a game that you look past.
100%. 100%. I hate when people are like, yeah, what about the I'm like, bro, we haven't even
exactly. We ain't there yet. Exactly. Yeah. We got a game before that.
Like that.
And we definitely need to win our division. And
we need to win the number 1 seed. We need to
overall,
to be home.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, there was a point in time where Levi's wasn't considered home field advantage, right?
Yep.
You guys have been there. You were all there the other day. Levi's in January, February, when the playoffs hit, Could you say right now that there's a pretty good home field advantage for 49ers when they play at home in the playoffs ever since maybe like 2019, or like it legitimately has an effect on the opponent? Any of you guys? I think it does.
I don't really want to put like a specific, a certain year on it. Maybe if you want to go back to like 2017 when we started winning those 5 games in a row, Levi started changing a little bit. People started coming to the stands. Don't give every credit or everything to Jimmy Garoppolo, but when you had a good quarterback in there that people were believing in, and at the time everybody was believing in Jimmy, right? So we were all pumping up, and everybody was just like, "Hey, we beat the Seahawks," and it's been how many years, and we beat the Seahawks. Well, we didn't beat them, but we scored a touchdown on them in our, and that was the whole thing. It was like everybody in that stadium quieted down. They just, because the Niners might have found their quarterback. And then, he gets hurt, and everybody's just like, okay. But at that time, there was still a bunch of noise. And yeah, I guess you're right. Maybe 2019 was maybe the year that everything kind of changed. But it's really sad because, we had everything that happened with Kaepernick. We had everything. And some people stopped going to the game and watching the game all together because of everything that happened. Some people just latched onto them. But regardless, the organization decided to maybe go in a different direction. We lost 3 coaches at the time. Like if you want to say it like that, I mean, Jimmy T, everybody right there is gone, right? And there was like it's not an embarrassment. Nobody should ever be embarrassed of the Niners, but there was like a nasty, time where people were like, "Oh, you like the Niners?" And it's like, yeah, I like the Niners. It's not one guy who makes me a Niner or not a Niner, but because, so there was a lot of gray clouds there for a little while. And then we were flying planes over the stadium saying fire our owner, so like there's been a lot of things that's happened since us coming to Levi's because we're not in San Francisco anymore. And people aren't happy about that. A lot of people who were season tickets stopped buying tickets. They did not reorder their season or renew their season pass to Levi's. And the way the stadium,
Michaels made a crack on us on freaking Thursday.
Yeah.
Al Michaels took a shot at the 49ers.
What did he say?
Saying something like, every shot we have to take of San Francisco is like, what do you say, 40 miles away? He's like, because the Niners, if you want to take pictures of stuff now, it's going to be like, I don't know. He took a shot at the Niners moving to Santa Clara, and I was just like,
further south, yeah.
I'm just like, wow, dude. It sucks that we had to go to Santa Clara. It does, but
with that, we're not the only team that's done this. Dallas played in Irvington.
Dallas doesn't play in Dallas.
Nope.
Right? LA doesn't play in LA. Either
the
team.
Giants don't play in New York or the Jets.
Not even in the state.
New Jersey.
They live in Jersey. Yeah, they're in Jersey. So everybody can shut their pie hole.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is one of those things. Sometimes you can't really, it's sad when teams move around. That's why I like, who is it? The Hornets? Is it, who was it in Miami? Yeah, I think it's the Hornets. They lost their name, and then there was a team in Louisiana that took it, and when they decided to change their name, they went back to, they snatched it back up, so they got their team name back because they went to being, I want to say, the Bobcats.
They're in the you're talking about basketball?
Yeah.
The Pelicans. They became the Pelicans.
And then they went back. They got their name back after a little while of time, if I'm correct.
Now they're still the Pelicans.
Oh, they're still the Pelicans. Pretty sure.
All right. But they lost their name. They understood it. They lost their name, and then another team got their name, and then they got it back.
I remember the Hornets moved, and something happened with their name. I can't remember what it was, though. Yeah, they were in Charlotte.
Yeah,
and they moved to New Orleans and remained the Hornets then, but then changed to the Pelicans. That's weird. I can't remember.
No, because it's in New Orleans. The Pelicans are in. That's the team in New Orleans, right?
Yeah. But
New Orleans Pelicans.
So they were originally in Florida.
They were formerly Charlotte, though, weren't they?
Yeah. Yes. But again, it's just one of those things. Teams move around, and that's why.
When I think of them, I think of Muggsy Bogues and Larry Johnson. That's what I think of. Yeah.
But they lost. They lost their name, and it's just sad because fans, they don't want to root for a new team. That's like what's going on with Washington, the Commanders or Washington football team. They have an identity crisis right now. And I think that's kind of what's happened with the Niners. But now, things are What's your guys' thoughts on the extensions? Kyle and John too early, not soon enough? I mean, people are really freaking out about it right now.
No issues whatsoever. None.
I don't have an issue with it. You know, I hear the argument. People say, "Oh, they haven't won anything," meaning they haven't won a Super Bowl. But if you go back to our dynasty years, we didn't win it every year, right? There were years where we did not win it. The thing was, we were in contention to win it. We were there. Every year, you knew that, okay, who's going to win the Super Bowl this year? The San Francisco 49ers were part of the conversation, just like they are now. And once we get over that hump, you can easily see us winning 2, maybe 3 Super Bowls. Fingers crossed, right? 4. Hey, the pieces are there. The leadership is there. The culture is there once again.
Yep.
Right? We're not picking first and second in the draft anymore. We're picking way down. That's a good thing. So I have no problem with it at all. I can see this team easily just continuing to go the way it is and us winning. So I'm fine with that. And I like stability. When we went through all those coaching changes, I tell you, I didn't like it.
100%.
I missed the days of, oh, who's there? Walsh. We know Walsh is there. And then it was Seifert. We knew Seifert was there. Let's keep the stability going and get this thing, just right.
It's amazing, these fans that are like, yeah, let's blow the whole thing up. It doesn't work like that. It's not Madden. You can't just sit there and delete people off the team and think you're going to still have the same camaraderie or the same, everything. Like the Niners right now, like you said, they have a chance every single year. If you put yourself in the dance enough, you're going to break through. You're going to break through. You can't do this thing. Oh, we haven't won, so let's get rid of the coach. Let's get rid of the GM and start over again. And then what happens in 2 or 3 years if you don't win? You're going to start over again, get rid of the coach, get rid of the GM. It doesn't work like that. That's pie in the sky. The good franchises are the franchises that have the same people year after year in the same positions, and there's stability. Free agents want to go there. There's a good culture. The thing about the Niners that they lacked before John and Kyle got here was the culture was trash, right? People are willing to go to the 49ers because they know they got a shot at winning a championship.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hargrave got better offers. But to me, it's like this whole mindset that you could just like implode a whole team and then start back over and think that that's going to be better. Like, who are you going to bring in as coach? Who are you going to bring in as GM? Who are you going to bring in as president or this, that, and the other? Like, give me some names if you're gonna. It's ridiculous, man. It's like, nah, I'm good. I'm not saying that we have to be content in being the bridesmaid all the time instead of the bride, but I feel like the longer we're in this and the longer we get a crack at it, like this year, we don't know what this year is going to be, but we're going to have a chance if we play well to be there again at the end. And who knows? We can't predict the future. So yeah, I'm totally fine, 100%.
I mean, I don't want to be like the Saints or the Eagles or I'm just trying to think back the Giants or the Cowboys. They're always regularly in the playoffs, but they don't do anything.
Right.
They don't ever do anything. Every once in a while the Giants might make it to the Super Bowl against us, or the Eagles sometimes, right? I mean, look at the Eagles, 5 NFC championship games with Andy Reid. They only went to 1 Super Bowl and they lost it. So it's like, it's just one of those things. And I don't think we have to buy a Super Bowl. We're not the Rams, but I wouldn't be mad right now if we had a Super Bowl and we're bad for a couple of years. I'll be honest, but the way this team is built, you can't go and say, okay, we shouldn't, re-sign Lynch. We shouldn't re-sign Kyle because they haven't won anything. No, they took us from, again, like, not trying to badmouth Kaepernick here at all. But we had this bad cloud when he was on the team. If they would have came in and said, we're going to keep you, Kaepernick, maybe everything would have changed. Maybe everything would have changed. But that's not the direction they went. So he went on his way. And the whole organization, maybe the cloud started, dispersing. I don't know. But it surely looked I don't know, we were on to better and brighter days, right? So Kyle's been here for a while, and if you really, none of us here, I don't believe, but if you really think Kyle should be fired, who's going to replace Kyle? And if you're going to fire John because you want to hire Adam Peters, why? I mean, like everybody there seems to be like getting along and liking the job. It's like the offensive lineman coach that we have. He doesn't want to be a offensive coordinator or he wants to do what he's doing. He doesn't, pay me something where I can make a good wage at and I'll be happy. And, he doesn't have to be a millionaire. He's happy being the guy, so maybe that's where Adam Peters is. Maybe he wants to go somewhere else. I don't know. Maybe there's this backyard deal, backyard handshake where they're all saying, okay, in a couple of years when we get to it. But you're telling me John Lynch wins the Super Bowl with Kyle Shanahan and he's not coming back the next season? He's just going to be, okay, that's it, guys. I didn't know. They're coming back. It's going to be, Batman and Robin. Let's go.
He said, well, I mean, he could go back to television, but not with this new contract. I think he's going to stay. I'll just say like this, we have the pieces in place and they've been putting pieces in place for us for years. The players got to be the ones that go out there and win it. The GM can't win a game. The coach can do his best to put players in position to win, but the players have to be the ones that win. We're getting another crack at it with a different quarterback now. I just, this whole thing where you could just like delete people and get rid of them and then think that you're going to go and be in a better position after is ridiculous. And this isn't it's not who's the coach you're going to bring in that's going to supplant Shanahan. This whole roster is built on Shanahan. Like they would have to freaking sell off all these guys and bring in somebody that fits their scheme. So you're talking about a team that's probably going to go backwards before they go forward. So it's just like,
No, I agree 100%. It's like, this is what we had. You don't like the Cabo click, that's fine, but they've been building this core to win a Super Bowl, and they've gotten really close. Injuries happened, other things have happened, but they got this core. Everybody wants this core to be like ripped apart because so-and-so is getting too much, and he's the highest paid fullback, or so-and-so, is injured all the time, or came into camp overweight. The organization believes in these guys. So if you don't believe in them, okay, watch the game, and that's fine. You can be objective, you can voice your opinion. But when you say stuff like, oh, so-and-so needs to be cut because of his wage, or so-and-so needs to be fired because they haven't won anything. It's like, do you remember what happened from 2003 all the way up until 2010? Do you remember what happened after 2014 to 2017? Are you seriously telling me you want just this whole team to be rebuilt? And who's going to rebuild it? Because Adam Peters is not going to stick around to rebuild this team. He's not. If that's what you think, it's not happening. Kyle's not sticking around for a rebuild. John's not. All these Cabo click people, the defense, if you don't want to consider them, everybody's going. Once we rebuild this team, all the contracts are gone. They're going to be paying them for a couple of years after these guys are gone. So again, it's like, oh, I don't like this guy. I don't like him either. But guess what? If he wins the Super Bowl, that's all that matters to me at the end of the day, right? So it's like, I know people say trust the process. Oh, that's overrated. Well, what are you supposed to trust? It's like you want to root for these guys to do good, or are you rooting to hate these guys? So I guess you got to ask yourself, do I hate the organization's decision to have this as my head coach? Is it going to affect me rooting for the team, or am I going to root for the team and whatever happens at the end of the year, it happens? And I can still say, hey, maybe we should get a different coach, but I want to hear you tell me again, who's your replacement? Because at this point, Sean Payton, I mean, like, who are we going to get, right?
Look what he's doing.
Right.
The problem with this fan base is, one, we're spoiled.
Very spoiled.
we want a Hall of Fame quarterback right away. We won Super Bowls right away. We're spoiled. It is what it is, right? Two,
back-to-back Hall of Fame quarterback.
Yeah, exactly.
Back-to-back.
Not just one, back-to-back. Two, we have recency bias like no one else. It was just in 2016 that this roster was a team full of backups. Like, aside from Colin Kaepernick and Bryant, you mentioned Colin Kaepernick. It wasn't all on him.
No, it wasn't.
This was a team full of backups. And I'm talking third and fourth stringers who were playing. That when Kyle and John came in, they had to rebuild the roster. So when you talk about blowing things up and going to a rebuilding process, they already did that. They already did their rebuilding process and got this team to a Super Bowl contender, a team that was in the Super Bowl 3 of the past 4 seasons, NFC Championship, and a Super Bowl appearance, right? And if it wasn't for injuries at the quarterback position, it could have been easily 2 straight back-to-back Super Bowl appearances.
Yep.
So it's the recency bias. Like we already went through that. And now we've come out the other side of it. And we're much better off. We're in a much better position. We have much better players. The culture's there. We got money. We got cap room money. Like we're not shooting ourselves in the foot like the Saints did with their cap. We're in a great position. But everybody's like,
they're still
we can't do this.
Themselves.
It's not
That's
working. Let's blow it all up.
Yeah. This isn't working. We got to change it.
And players deserve the money that they get if they perform. What are you supposed to do? Just let guys go? Oh, sorry, you can't keep you, Fred Warner. We can't keep you, Nick Bosa. You cost too much. That's what happens when you can become a good team. You don't sit around with $80 million in cap space anymore and hoping you can sign this free agent and that free agent. Right. The whole point of being good is that you're going to pick at the end of the draft, and you're essentially maybe going to sign one free agent per offseason. This isn't freaking Madden where you could turn off the salary cap and all of a sudden be like, I want this guy. I want this guy. This isn't Madden Ultimate Team. It's the National Football League. People are, dude, that's how you know people when you know that the saying casual that my guy Roscoe's likes to throw around all the time when people are dumb. Yeah. That's what people, those are casual fans. Those are the fans that don't actually understand the actual business side of it.
Right.
Ever do.
And you think about every offseason, as soon as the offseason hits and that list of free agents come out,
we need to get this.
You get those fans out say sign this guy and that guy and that guy and that guy and that
Niners
guy. And
it's cheap. They never sign anybody.
How are we going to sign all of them?
Yeah,
make the math on that one.
Exactly. Exactly. We're cheap. We never sign anybody. That's the one that I always get. John never takes a chance. It's like, what are you talking about? Two seasons where we got close to the Super Bowl, he brought in somebody to help us.
Yeah. We signed a guy in the offseason and made a trade.
Yeah. And both times those players helped tremendously get us to where we needed to go. People are, you're right, man. People are spoiled.
Hey, but we're the 49ers.
On top of that, look at how, I was going to say, look at how this team's built. The draft. Most of our core players have come from the draft. And not even like Nick Bosa and Brandon Ayuk are first round picks, but who else? You know, you got Kinlaw, but he's not a core player.
No.
And the rest of these guys are found in the mid to late rounds.
We had a 7th round quarterback thrown to a 7th round receiver last Thursday.
Yep.
The best linebacker
that
in
was
football.
A fantastic
what round is he picked in?
Was it 4? 4th, 5th?
3rd.
Best.
Right. We use our kickers for 4 and 3rd.
Arguably the best tight end in football. What round is he picked in?
5th.
5.
Yep.
Talanoa Hufanga, probably one of the best young safeties in the league. 5th.
5.
Yep.
$5. Come on now. Act like this regime doesn't know what they're doing. They do. And they built a damn good roster. Why are we going to blow this up? And it's young talent, right? We got young talent that can.
Because we don't have the quarterback that everybody wanted, so of course they're the worst.
So what? Yeah. We're winning games. That's what counts. At the end of the day, did we win? Yeah.
Yeah, but we probably but if we don't win the Super Bowl, it's a failure. And Trey Lance would have gotten us there. It's like he's not here anymore, man.
He's
Stop
gone.
Talking about him.
You know one thing I hate about that? He's been gone for a month and a half.
And people are still talking about his ass.
He's completely out of the equation.
He's been inactive on the Cowboys. People
still bring him up. And it's like, why? There's
They don't believe in
no
Purdy.
use for it. No use for it. I don't care that Brock Purdy actually only threw for 95 yards on Sunday. You know what? He got the job done. He did what he was supposed to do. He did his job.
We didn't win the way that those people wanted us to, though.
Well, see, that's
a
a
win
great
is a
point.
win.
That's a great point because, like, the offense that we had, I know people wanted to move off of Jimmy because, you know, he was throwing interceptions with his eyes closed. That's the only reason they wanted to move off of him. And he had a couple of seasons where he was injured. They would have kept Jimmy. They even made the report was they were looking to re-sign Jimmy, but you know,
they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't either, but they were looking to re-sign Jimmy. There was no the organization was like, hey, we got somebody here we might be able to work with. But the idea of being able to go to Lance, big play Lance, right? You know, he's got that big arm. That was, oh man, we're gonna be able to score so quick. We'll be able to, you know, it'll take us 3 seconds to score a touchdown and this and that. And I'm like, guys, we run the ball. We run like 14, 15 plays a quarter. We're only giving the guys the ball back. Sometimes we take a whole 15 minutes for a quarter. It's not one time we did this. We've done it multiple times. So the formation, you guys remember how many times are we supposed to run the ball and then they presume we win it? Is it 50 times or 60? They said
like usually like 30 to 35 times would consider a victory. This is a run first football team too. People need to seem to forget that. Like, this isn't Brock Purdy throwing the ball a lot. This is a run first football team. It still is.
I totally get it. Fantasy football and stuff. People want their players to go out there and score big and stuff like that, but it doesn't necessarily happen that way. And, you know, it's like, just like what you said with Madden, you know, you can go and get any player you want on the Madden football team, but at the end of the day, they're not really a Niner. They're not really a Niner. It's your fantasy team. So like, I want to see Juwan go off. I want to see BA go off. I want to see Debo go off, you know? Those are the guys.
Go off.
Right. I heard that bell. I want to see those guys do it. You know, the other guys in the league, you know, hey, great. You're great. There's so many people out there who want to watch football and you're an amazing player, but you might not be able to do that on my team. And the reason we just might not be able to get you the ball the right way, or maybe you want the ball more times than we can give you shots. That was a little bit disturbing. Not disturbing. That's the wrong word, but it bothered me a little bit. They kept trying Debo. They just kept trying Debo. And yeah, he eventually got a touchdown at the end of the end zone. But there was they tried to throw it to him right there on third down. He dropped it. They tried to throw it to him in the end zone, I think on the left. He wasn't able to catch it. Sometimes you do. You have to mix it up a little bit. You can't just target only one good player. We have multiple good players. And those other guys that you don't hear about, they're good too. You know, so I did like how they mixed in Mitchell a little bit more, and Ronnie Bell did get a couple opportunities. That was cool. Conley got in the game. That was also great. Debo's great player.
Didn't pay attention.
84 Conley. So
okay.
He was,
he was blocking. He was doing some blocking.
Yeah. It was a short week. They had to mix those guys in. It would have been stupid.
You could tell at the end of that game they were just trying to get the hell out of Dodge, man. Yeah. It was just like, please let this game be over.
But let's get out of here healthy and rest.
Steve-O, he says, in my day, we aired it out to Rice and T.O. Yes, but it was still the West Coast offense. And I know you remember Garrison Hurst. And I know you remember what was it, 98 yards against the Jets? You know, I mean, like,
to win the game in overtime. Yep.
T.O. run his butt down there to block. Okay, so it wasn't all air it out. I mean, we had J.J. Stokes, T.O., Ty Streets, Jerry Rice, but we also had we had Fred Beasley. We had, we had a lot of good players. A lot of good players to run the ball too. So it was a good mix of everything all around, I think. We're the West Coast offense. We throw slants. If you don't like that, then watch the Raiders.
Hold up. The offense is predicated on being able to attack you in all phases. We can run the ball inside and outside.
Mm-hmm.
In the passing game, we can hit you with the short stuff. We can hit you with the intermediate stuff. We can also burn you with the long stuff. The one part of this offense that has been missing since Kyle took over is that latter part, to burn you with the chunk plays through the air. Now, whether it be, let's put it out there, it's been the quarterback position that's been lacking, that hasn't been able to take advantage of chunk plays through the air because they're there. We've seen it. We saw it just last week, week before last versus the Rams. There were chunk plays through the air that were missed. This has been going on since Kyle took over. So once that gets figured out, think about that. That's missing, but we're still scoring 30 points a game.
Right.
Imagine if that part of the game was there. Then we're talking, we're putting up 50 burgers on people, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's easy points. So it's there. Not Debo. Well, Debo's a deep threat. He can get open deep, but Brandon Ayuk is a legit deep threat.
Mm-hmm.
We just haven't seen it because, once again, we haven't had the quarterback to take advantage of that, right?
Yep.
We know we got Danny Gray, a speedster out there. Ray-Ray McCloud is a speedster who can get deep. We got what? George Kittle can get deep. He can get open deep. He is a matchup nightmare. He's bigger than you think, and he's faster than you think. We just haven't had chunk plays through the air. Now, Brock has been working on that stuff. And just because you don't have a strong arm doesn't mean you can't throw deep, right? You can do it with timing, with anticipation, with accuracy. We know he's got accuracy. We know he's got anticipation. If he can get that timing part route to just let it fly, and we've seen him attempting it, if that starts to connect, this offense is legit scary on all three phases of the passing game. And that's what the hope.
And we still got a long season to make that happen. So I'm not sweating it one bit.
Exactly.
It's all about the health. Got to stay healthy, guys. If we stay healthy, we have a great season in front of us.
David, what else do you got, man?
I saw Brock. I saw Brock throw a 35-yard pass. So it seems like every week he's getting a little more and a little more downfield.
Yeah,
so
he's not scared to go downfield.
It could be he's regaining his arm strength, because he didn't really have an off season. He was just rehabbing from his injury. Mm-hmm. So, as we go, I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'd like to see him chuck at 40, 45 yards, but what more can you ask out of the guy, Russell Wilson can barely throw at 46 yards now.
He's washed. He needs to go play for the Long Island laundry mats because he's washed.
Yeah. But dude, so it needs to be.
Oh man.
I do have to take
Bryant, what'd you have?
I was going to finish what Aaron's saying here. What else you got for us? Because I think it's getting a little bit to that time where we got to start seeing MIC.
Yeah, we're past the time, but we've been talking and we lose track of time.
MICKEY.
But what do you guys got going on this week? Let's start with Aaron. What do you got?
Nice. Yeah.
I have tomorrow at 6:30 p.m. 3:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'm on with Ted from Ted Talks Ball. I'm gonna get after Ted this week because he says he's gonna stop being negative about Purdy, but he keeps doing it. No, I love Ted. And we'll be on his channel, but we'll be broadcasting to mine as well. And then at 9:00 tomorrow night, I'm on with Raj from RSF 49ers. We'll be on my channel. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I'm really open. I'm trying to work on some streams, maybe Friday or Saturday. Maybe Rob Shue again. It had been like a calendar year. Me and him, I had some, sometimes things happen. You fall out of love with some of your bros, but things are cool now. And thinking about doing another stream. And I might, I like to keep it open. Sometimes I feel like I need to fill my week with a bunch of streams instead of just relaxing. I don't know what that is. Like I do it and then I'm like, oh, I don't know if I really want to do the stream tonight. I'm like, well, you made it. Yeah, I give myself anxiety that I don't need. So yeah, I have 2 streams tomorrow. Both will be on my channel. One at 6:30 p.m. Eastern and one at 9 p.m. Eastern. Check them out. Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do the same for everybody here in this chat too. Like, share, comment, subscribe on everybody's channel. Give us a 4 likey. It'd be awesome.
Yeah.
On the Stay
Bryant,
Faithful
what
channel.
You got going on?
Oh, sorry, I was jumping the gun.
Oh, you're good.
Oh no,
you're good.
You're good. You're perfect. It's I don't know. We're in contacts with Wolf. We might do a show later tonight. We might not. We've got to wait for his response. Sometimes, it's fun to do a bunch of shows, but sometimes it's nice to have that little break too. I want to go check out the football game here in a couple minutes, see what the scores are all up. Check you guys' messages later. If there's ever you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me. I'll be around. You see me with David a lot, these guys, and just really appreciate it. If everybody, who's leaving the chat right now, if they could go to Joe Stevens, Seattle Seahawk Talk, and rate his channel. I threw it out there. I went over and rated his channel. It's kind of cool. Just give him a like if you can. If you want to subscribe, that's cool. But either way, I'll be around. Thank you guys for having me on, and go Niners.
All right, Ty, what do you got?
Oh, it's me. Sorry about that, Brian.
I'm the problem. It's me.
That's right. On the Stay Faithful channel. No, I got an interview dropping with Lee Gallen from the 49er Faithful UK crew.
Nice.
Tomorrow. Me and him sat down for a chat, which is pretty cool. And on Wednesday at 11, I think I'm joining Wayne Breezy on his channel.
Nice.
To just talk about some stuff and kick it the way Aaron does, Seems like fun times. And I've been on his channel before. It's good stuff.
He makes you bring energy, and if you don't have it, it makes you feel like you need to bring it.
I know you're slacking, right? Yeah.
I need to. No, I need to. I'm just letting you know, like, you're going to be like, man, I need to like drink some more coffee or something.
Yeah. I need some Gatorade or something when you go on his channel. It's definitely.
I hope you have fun.
Yeah, it should be a fun one. And then Wednesday at 8 p.m., the East Coast Red and Gold crew, we're getting back together to recap the game, talk about our West Coast trip. So that should be a fun experience.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met Lee Gallen when he was at the game, and that must have been a brutal flight, though.
Totally worth it though if you win.
It is worth it. He's done it before.
Coming over from the UK.
Yeah, it was his birthday on Thursday. He was so just hyped up and ready for it. So I don't think he minded it at all.
I wouldn't have mind taking a plane trip.
So what I got going on? Oh my goodness! Monday Night Football update.
Yeah, not 25 game there.
Yeah, I put it on the screen. Laura had it 25-3. Eagles are beating the Bucks.
Baker ain't cooking chicken tonight, I guess.
But yeah,
no shake and bake tonight.
Yeah,
just bacon, no shaking. Go ahead, David. Uh-oh. Lost your audio again.
Yep. We can't hear you.
Yeah, David's been having some adjustment issues. But guys, thanks all for coming. And make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Like David said earlier, Aaron and Ty, keep your guys' eyes out. Hey, if you did us a favor, you probably already did because you're here. But if you're subscribed to all our channels, we really support, really appreciate you. And like that,
I learned how to fix my mic.
Yay!
I learned how to fix my mic just now.
All right. What you got going on, homie?
All right. Shout out to Tony. Everyone go see Ladies of the Empire on Saturday night. I got to say hi to Lily, Holly, and Murphy. And what up to Bruce, the English Bulldog.
Right.
Oh, that's your dog's name, Bruce?
I like it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. But, hey, stay faithful. Go Niners, and always F those Lions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
We got the Red Chickens coming up. Man, we better win that game.
Oh, yeah.